Hi everyone, welcome back to the Power Up with your hostess Velia Chavez. Today I have a special guest with us. She's here to invite us to her upcoming event. But first, let me introduce to you my friend Tania. Bienvenida. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are
I'm
you?
good, thank you. So Tania, tell us a little bit about what your group does and
Okay.
what's coming up.
Okay, so our group name is Grupo Folklorico MiSol. We are a traditional Mexican folk dance group, and we do a variety of dances from different regions and states de Mexico. But we also, I like to describe our group as a creative, expressive group because we don't just do folk dances.
Mm-hmm.
We add in some more modern dances here and there. We also like to be very theatrical and tell a lot of the culture Mexicana through that creative expression because Mexico offers so much
Mm-hmm.
other than folklorico. There's art, there's other types of dances, there's music, there's food. So we really try to tell a bigger story when we do our performances.
Oh, that's interesting. I had
Yes.
never heard of a dance group. Well, I know dance groups
Yes.
are an art in itself, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you want to expand outside of the traditional folklorico, that's
Yes.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, how many people or how many groups or dance crews do you have?
Okay. So, off the top of my head, the number it varies, but we have an adult group. There's more than 10 of us. Then we have a children's group, also like more than 10. And then we have the toddler group, the solecitos. Those are like ages 4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's about 8 of them. So it's around like 36 to 38 dancers ish.
36 to 38
Yeah.
dancers.
It's a lot of us.
And so you're the one in charge of
Yeah.
putting the whole show together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I went to your Facebook
Yeah.
and your Instagram, and I saw that you guys perform all over the place.
Yes.
Recently, you guys performed at the Kaufman for Viva
Yes.
Los Royals Day.
That was a very exciting performance because they do an amazing event for Hispanic Heritage Month, and to be invited to just perform within the stadium was such an amazing opportunity. And for me, as the director of the group, it's very rewarding to see my dancers work so hard and then it paying off, especially in places like the Royal Stadium. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, the Kansas City Royals have really done a great job this
Yeah,
past couple of years of
they really have.
really, you know, creating awareness around the culture
Yes.
of on Hispanic Heritage Month. So that's awesome. Good job, Royals.
Yes, good job, Royals.
Yeah. So tell me, you guys have a performing coming up. It's also in a big,
Yes.
recognized venue.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
So we have one this Saturday. We're performing at JCC for we're opening. We're doing like a pre-show for Mariachi Herencia de Mexico, and it's also a really awesome opportunity. And I feel like that's our way to like close Hispanic Heritage Month, even though we're past it. But it's like a good seal to that. And then we have Dia de los Muertos, which is just big within itself. There's so much culture surrounding Dia de los Muertos, and we have two performances. Our first performance is November 2nd at the Crossroads Hotel. That is going to be an all afternoon evening event. We have three different performances at 6 p.m., at 8 p.m., and at 9 p.m. The awesome thing about this event is very interactive, so people come in, they're shopping from different vendors, they're drinking drinks at the bar. There's going to be mariachi, there's going to be a band. It's like a whole experience for the guests. It's free as well. And it's awesome because us as dancers, we're going to be very much immersed in the event. So we're going to be like side by side, some of the guests, they're dancing with you guys. So it's going to be really awesome. And then the other event, the day after, November 3rd, we're going to be performing at 12 p.m. in the Nelson Atkins Museum Auditorium. And this show I'm very, very excited about. Anyone that asks me, I'm like, you have to come. Because kind of reflecting on what I was saying earlier, we're going to be telling a whole story de Dia de los Muertos. It's not just us getting up on stage, painting our faces, and dancing folklorico. This is going to be a very much different show, a theatrical show. We're telling a love story. It's a love story. It's a grief story. And we're inviting like our crowd and our followers to also participate in it. and we're trying to tell a very moving and touching story for that. And again, that's November 3rd, the Nelson Auditorium, and we perform at 12.
So the Nelson Auditorium, that's within the Nelson Atkins Museum?
Yes. Okay. So the event is also free. There's no tickets. I believe there's not even tickets because it's just open to the public. So you walk in, and that event within itself is going to be very interactive. They're going to have vendors there. They're going to have, I believe, like some Pan de Muerto. Other folklorico groups are going to be performing as well, mariachi. And within the museum, there is a theater auditorium. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have all the dance groups. I believe all the dance groups are performing at the auditorium. We have performances before us and then after us as well, but our specific performance is at 12.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, because the Nelson Atkins Museum is like the museum. Yeah. And to have such an important organization recognize your work as an art, that it's so important to them that they're able to provide exposure to it within that venue. That's a great achievement. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, because last year we also performed there. Mm-hmm. And the folklorico culture in Kansas City is really growing, and mm-hmm. there's new grupos coming out. We're about to hit our 2-year mark barely. Mm-hmm. So last year when we performed, Tessa, our contact at the Nelson, she was like, I'm trying to fit in all the groups. We're trying to make it work. And she put a lot of the smaller groups in the block lobby. And this year she was able to accommodate all of us into the auditorium. So I think every year we're like moving up, right? And we're getting better and bigger, which is the goal. But it really is an unforgettable feeling when you're performing on a stage, for real.
Yes. and it's awesome to see that all these organizations, like the Royals, Nelson Atkins, JCC, that they're embracing the history of the culture and the art that it entails, that it's not just tacos and margaritas, that it's more than that there's meaning behind, even the colors, the outfits, mm-hmm. everything is so symbolic. So that's wonderful. It's great. And every year it seems like Hispanic Heritage Month ends up extending, because there's so much to share about the Hispanic culture that it's wonderful.
I definitely agree, especially around this time. Like, we call it the heaviest season for mm-hmm. a reason, because we enter Hispanic Heritage Month, and then you have Dia de los Muertos right after, and it's really nice to see even the crowds at those venues mm-hmm. embrace our culture and want to learn all about it. We have people come up like, why are you wearing this type of dress mm-hmm. when you're dancing this, or what does this mean? And it's very rewarding to also mm-hmm. be able to teach them a piece of our culture and share it with them, and them feeling so excited about it as well.
And it's true, that is also something very awesome to see. Everyone, so much diversity within the events, like El Dia de los Muertos on Central Avenue. You see people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, and so that's wonderful that everybody comes together to share in this amazing experience.
It really is, especially that, because I think you had an interview with someone yesterday talking about Gaba's event, right? The parade.
Oh, last week, yes.
Last week? Okay, yeah, that wasn't, I completely missed it. We're also performing earlier in the day. We're not doing the parade because we have our performance at Crossroads, but this year they're bringing a Son de la Negra challenge. I don't know if they talked to you about it.
No.
But this one's going to be amazing too, because they opened the invitation to all the grupos in Kansas City and surrounding to learn a single choreo step faldeo for Son de la Negra, and we're going to be all put on the street, and we're all going to be dancing Son de la Negra all together, same steps, same faldeo. So it's going to be really awesome. Elena at Gaba is organizing this, and it's so amazing to just see even how they're opening up new opportunities, specifically for folklorico groups and people in the arts to showcase their talents.
Yes. Yes, and I've had an amazing time also collaborating with everyone, sharing all this information, from the car shows to the events, and the singers and the dancers and everyone coming together. It's just so great to see everyone coming together to put something like that. And then to encourage and foster a collaborating atmosphere where all the groups are going to come together and dance as one. Because it's not about who's the best group or who's been around the longest. It's about coming together as a force to empower our culture and
absolutely.
share and create awareness about everything.
Yes, yes, you hit the nail with that, because like I mentioned, the folklorico culture is growing in Kansas City, and it's just beautiful to see. Like, there's events where we bump into each other, and it's all about forming those relationships and the bigger picture, right? What is our goal? Our goal is to share our cultura with people that aren't Mexican. Even there's Mexican people that don't know about their culture. So that's the bigger goal of sharing our culture, and it's not about competition or like who's better, who's not, and that.
One quick question though. Earlier you mentioned the word faldeo. That's the first time I hear that, because I'm not in the dance world. I'm in the podcasting world. But for those who don't know what that means, I think I know what it means, but can you explain it to us?
So faldeo, it's the movement of a falda. Falda is a skirt. So obviously the women wear dresses. Sometimes it's a whole piece, sometimes it's a two-piece. Most of the time it's a two-piece. And our faldas are specifically made with extra material, if you can say, like huge skirts for you to be able to move your arms, so to do the faldeo when you're dancing. And each state, each region that you dance, for example, el faldeo, the skirt movements in Jalisco are different from the skirt movements in Veracruz. Like, that's a very different type of faldeo, or even the skirt movements from Sinaloa. So each region also has its own style of skirt work. But yeah, that's what faldeo means. Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about, what did you call it? El son de la negra?
Son de la negra, yes. So this song is from the state of Jalisco. It is a mariachi played song. I would say it's probably one of those top recognized songs in the folklorico world. But yeah, it is a love song. It is a guy courting a girl, and in the song he's talking about how beautiful she is. Son de la negra means like he's admiring her dark complexion as well. In the song he's talking about bringing her gifts from different parts of Jalisco. So it's a really beautiful song. And again, it is one of those most recognized songs, and I think it's like the perfect song to have all these groups dance, because it's going to be so beautiful. It incorporates a lot of like zapateado. Zapateado is like footwork. So we use shoes that have nails in the toe points of the shoe and the heel. And so it has a lot of zapateado, especially for the men. And then the faldeo too. It's very beautiful, telling the whole story of the song.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, because I learned something new today. I had no idea. All I ever know, I mean, being a Latina, I'm still a little ignorant myself about our culture. And so all I know is the jarabe tapatio.
And no, jarabe tapatio, so like the Mexican hat dances, it is the most recognized dance, I mean song, I think in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. But there's just so many like intricate parts of folklorico, and like I mentioned, a lot of Mexican people don't even know what folklorico is, or all the different things about like the shoes of faldeo. And I don't think it's about ignorance. I think it's just its own like culture, right? And it's beautiful to share and teach others about it. And yes, every state, every region has its own faldeo, its own zapateado, but Mexico is a lot more than that. And that's what I told my dancers. It's not about technique, like having the most perfect technique here. It's not about having the most perfect faldeo. It's about us being passionate and having that drive to learn, and then also inspiring the hearts of the people that are watching us.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, definitely, for sharing this. So give us a quick recap, a rundown of the next performances you have coming up.
Perfect. Okay, so really fast. This Saturday, October 26th, we'll be performing around 6:45 at the Midwest Trust Center. We're doing a pre-show opening for Mariachi Herencia. And then the week after that, we have November 2nd, we're doing the Son de la Negra Challenge. That time is going to be posted on the Cava like Facebook, because they're still pending on that time. But it's going to be earlier in the day, around 12 or 1 p.m. And then later that evening, we're going to be performing at 6 p.m., at 8 p.m., and at 9 p.m. at Crossroads Hotel in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. And then November 3rd, we have a 12 p.m. show at the Nelson Atkins Museum Auditorium.
Wow, yeah, me cansé just listening to you.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. People say I do a lot. This girl's done
Imagine
a lot.
practicing for all of that in like 2 weeks. It's a lot.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
But it's worth it.
So tell me, where's your dance studio? And if anyone else is interested, like in having their
Yes.
kids join, or is it for all ages, adults,
It is.
kids? Okay.
It definitely is for all ages. Right now, we're at the end of our season. So after Dia de los Muertos, we may or may not have a couple more performances, but the season is closed. But if they find us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, they can message us about our group. And we're going to be opening up our group in January, February. Send us a message if you're interested. We start accepting dancers as little as 4 years old. Our at is Grupo, GRUPO .MiSol, MISOL.KC. And again, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Perfect. And so that reminds me, it starts close to tax season. And remember, the Power Up is brought to you in part by Velia, Chavez Insurance and Income Tax Services. So make sure you reach out to us next tax season or now for a quote on your insurance policy.
Yes, and we're actually neighbors.
We're neighbors, yes. Her dance studio is right next door to mine.
It is. We're in the Argentine area, right? Argentine?
Yes.
Yep. Argentine area in Kansas City, Kansas.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time here on The Power Up with Velia.